Hello, everyone. It's another episode of British Business with Matt Holland, and today I'm joined remotely by Charlie Smith from Workwear Innovation. How are you, Charlie?
I'm well, thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me on. It's great to be here again.
It's a bit different.
Can I
this
just
episode,
interrupt a
isn't
minute?
it?
Can I just interrupt a minute? Can I
Go
start
on,
by
here we
saying,
are.
have you had these from Sammy yet?
Oh, the brownies.
Have you had the brownies yet? Ours came today.
So, you've put me
These,
right on. You've put me right on the spot.
I am, because I want to know whether you went through with it. Because you told me I had to get some, and you know what? I went ahead and I did it.
Well,
and we did it big. But I want to know whether you put your money where your mouth is and also ordered some. I'm going to try one live on the podcast tonight.
Oh, we can do a little. Sammy will like that.
Yeah, we'll do a review. You can tell me when that segment you want to cut. I don't want to hijack. I don't want to hijack the show. But I just thought I'd get that in there because they are pretty special.
No, that's fine, mate. So to answer your question, we did order some brownies. Sammy, this is interesting. So to support Sammy, for context, people listening, Sammy is a friend contact of mine. We chat about business. She's got an ice cream parlour in North Wales. I can't pronounce the name of the business, so
neither can I. I had a little look beforehand.
So it's got a Welsh name. My wife is Welsh. She speaks Welsh, but I don't. So Sammy, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name of your business. But she makes fantastic ice cream, and she makes amazing brownies. Now the brownies, I have a guy that works in my business called Lucas, and Lucas is an aspiring baker. He enjoys making brownies part-time, and he, whenever we get brownies, I always say to him, I said, "Are the brownies any good, Lucas?" And he said to me, sat on his break in the breakout cabin, munching on this chocolate brownie that had been sent over by Sammy. He said, "It is the best brownie I've ever had." With crumbs all over.
That's one hell of a statement.
And as well, Lucas is a ruthless. He's been pretty savage with other people's brownies. I'm not going to say who. Definitely not my wife Amy's brownies. He's definitely not said anything negative about those.
Wise.
Yeah, well, Amy listens to the podcast, so if she finds out that Lucas has been bad-mouthing Amy's brownies, there could be trouble. So,
big time.
Yeah. But Lucas said that the brownies were very good.
Honestly, mate, first look, fantastic. I can't wait to have a go.
Should we do a taste test?
Join that. I'm gonna go. Shall I go? I don't know which one I should go for.
Do you like my mug that I got? I got Taylor Tassie to do for me as well, by the way.
You know that's rubbish. You know I did them for you.
Taylor Tassie, for people listening, he's what's the name of his business, by the way? You're not going to tell me. Anyway, there's a guy that listens to James Sinclair stuff, and he goes to the events, and he's in the workwear game, and Charlie's in the workwear game. So I always wind Charlie up and say that I got my stuff done by Taylor Tassie, but in reality, Charlie does all my stuff, including the mugs. So, and the mug is great. But anyway, brownie, come on.
Brownie, here we go. Fucking hell.
Can you chew it closer to the mic so people can hear?
You like that? Have another bite. Should I have another bite?
Yeah, it's like that pizza review. Go on.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's good.
Oh, yeah, baby. Is it good?
Unbelievable. I'm not just saying it either.
So I'm going to say...
that's the best brownie I've ever had, for sure. Hands down.
There we are. Right.
It's massive.
So we need to get the name of Sammy's business correct, don't we?
I think it's Aaron Heffenla. I'm not Welsh.
Aaron.
Thank God.
Heffenla. Aaron Huffenla.
Oh.
ARANHUFEN La. Ice cream and bakes. So she's just pivoting at the moment a little bit more towards baked goods, and she hard sold brownies to my business, Charlie's business, and a few other people I know. Which I, to be fair, I did ring a couple of people and said, make sure you buy them off the net offer, and Charlie did. Fair play to him. And in fact, I think before I'd even rang you,
So
you'd
good.
put the order down.
So
Yeah.
good.
So I'm calorie counting today. I've only had about 4. I've only had 400 and something calories. So there's a bit of
Well done.
there's a
Well
bit of
done, you.
feedback. There's a bit of feedback on your mic. I don't know if
There's probably something to do with me eating this.
yeah.
Oh my god. Right, we're going to talk
Right.
about something
So
else. Let's talk about
yeah,
something we're supposed to be talking about.
yeah. Sorry. So so for people listening, Sammy's business.
Oh,
If you
it's a rapper. Sorry, it's a rapper. Sorry. Carry on.
tell this,
Cut.
Jesus Christ. So Sammy's business, she does ice cream and baked goods. We both had a load of brownies delivered. Everyone loves them. Matt's not tried them yet. I've not tried them yet because I'm calorie counting, but I'm going to. I'm going to have one probably tonight or tomorrow. So I will let people know what I think. Anyway, so why are we here? What are we doing? Me and Charlie have decided to record an extra episode, which is like a bonus episode. You'll be listening to this probably at some point before Christmas, I think. We've got an episode coming out next week on Monday and on Christmas Day. We're recording this on the 18th of December, so you'll hear it at some point over the next month. I felt a bit frustrated this week, and Charles here has communicated to me that he's felt a little bit frustrated as well. I don't know whether it's just that pre-Christmas rush trying to get everything squared away. How do you feel about things, mate?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of that. I think it's mostly that, to be honest with you. I think historically, like for our business, primarily being like a B2B supplier, you always expect December to be a lot quieter. And although, like as a business owner, you never want your business to be quiet, you always want to be busy. I think like mentally there was this opportunity where you could get things done that you hadn't got done in the last sort of 3 or 4 months, and it kind of hasn't come for us. Which is it's a great problem to have. We're busier than we were last year, but at the same time, there were so many things that I kind of wanted to get done in the last 2 weeks and kind of give us a real head start in January, so we could get off to a real fast one. But it just hasn't happened, and I don't know whether it means I start thinking about my organisation pre this time. I think, should I have gone earlier? You know what? And I start doubting myself. Think, what's the point in planning? You know, you're talking about a fast start in January, but why are we not planning for a fast start in January in September or late August, or and trying to think a little bit further ahead than what we've been doing? And I think a lot of my frustration probably comes from the fact that I haven't managed myself well enough to ensure I've done the things that are now making me a bit annoyed. That and people wanting stuff pre-Christmas.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's not easy, is it?
No.
Yeah, and I think it's trying to work out what to prioritize in your business and your personal life as you head into Christmas. Like we had a chat earlier today, and kind of said like, oh, we're not going to record. So we said we would record, and then I messaged you later on and said, I can't do it, mate. I'm absolutely stressed to the eyeballs. I shouldn't do it. And then I was like, I need to do the hard things.
I know, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do this stuff. So I've had a long day. You've had a long day. We're recording this at 7 p.m. Kids have just gone to bed. It's been a hard couple of weeks. We're thinking about Christmas. We've got a bit of time booked off, and it's how we can utilize that time between just before Christmas, during Christmas, and the new year to kind of hit January running. And I said to you earlier, I was like, well, don't do any actual work. Just kind of like if you've got a couple of weeks off, or if you're listening, your business is closed down, or maybe you are taking a bit of time off at Christmas. If you want to be effective as you hit January, what I said to Charlie earlier today is actually what we should both be doing, including myself. This is advice or opinion for myself as well, is we should use the time to plan effectively, make to-do lists, set goals, set out what your first week, 2 weeks of January should look like, to try and make sure that when you do hit the ground running in January, you're flying, and it's not like you walk into a firestorm and proverbially the things hit the fan, and you end up doing rather than you end up operating rather than, because obviously we all have to be operators in our business as well within the SME space. But typically I would say if we want to grow your small business, you've got to kind of pull out of it a little bit and oversee. And if you go into January of like, right, I'm hitting the ground and I'm in there operating, you're not executing on strategy and improving it. And that's the challenge, I think. So it's balancing that Christmas period, having a bit of a break, but also organising yourself effectively.
Yeah, you said something interesting to me a couple of weeks ago when you said, like, we're talking about KPIs and what we can monitor and what we can look at, and, you know, looking at times when we're busy and when we're not so busy, and then adapting our own working schedules around the times. I think you've done it quite well this year, didn't you? But adapting our own working schedules around our work. And a good opportunity for us, the B2B supplier, is to not be there the 2 weeks over Christmas, because none of our customers are. And I think if we were to carry on kind of our production stuff, we'd able to give ourselves a real clean start in January. But actually, when the email's not going, the phone's not ringing, it's actually a perfect opportunity to have some actual time away from work. So my frustration probably comes again from the fact that if I'd have got myself prepared with the content that I wanted to produce, and, you know, our plans for our marketing in January and what we were going to do, and how or even setting up the warehouse and stuff ready to go into January, so it's clean, it's tidy. Our workflows are all sorted. We've got as much stock out the door as humanly possible. We're coming back clean. People are not been waiting for stuff for too long. We can stay on top of our lead times. I haven't now been able to do any of that, because I wanted to be a little bit operational in January. I wanted to go in on the first day. I wanted to be straight into, right, phones ringing, emails flying. What can we sell? Who can we talk to? Who do we need to touch base with? I wanted to be doing all those things straight away, and know in the back of my head that we'd done all the pre-work to know that it's okay for me to go and do those things. But now I've not done the pre-work. Now it's going to be like that anyway, or I hope it's going to be like that anyway as soon as we come back. And I'll still have to do all the things I didn't do in December.
Yeah, it's hard. And the thing that you're missing is you need to take the time off and have some rest and relaxation where you spend the time with the family as well. So it's like that challenge and that balance, I suppose, which is difficult to strike. But we've done what I do sometimes on this podcast, is we've jumped way ahead into the episode. So to introduce the actual episode, 12 minutes in, this is a bonus episode. It's called Running Hard, Getting Nowhere. And the thing is like, I suppose that analogy of running hard, getting nowhere, it's obviously similar to Charlie's marathon training at the moment.
12 minutes 51 that took. Thank you. I'm going to take that as a win.
Yeah, you've done well there, mate. But actually, for us as business owners, it's kind of like we're at the moment with Rachel Thieves and everything going on in the economy, everything. It's challenging, and I certainly feel like we're doing very well. We're in a fortunate position, but I suppose big picture, I speak to a lot of business owners, and it's not easy out there. And I think like we're both fortunate. You make your own luck. I mean, luck does exist in non-work environments to a certain degree. I think you can be unlucky. You can be lucky, but predominantly you create your own luck. And I think we're both fortunate in the sense that both our businesses are growing at the moment. It's through our own endeavours, but it's not like that for everyone. And I think it's important for us to think about kind of like the challenges that everyone's facing. And it does sometimes. I've definitely in the past felt like I've been working really hard, I've been running really hard and not really making too much progress in terms of hitting the milestones or things that I want to do. And I've got a couple of good episodes coming out that me and Tom have filmed whereby we talk about goal setting and things like that. So I don't want to drift too much into those kind of topics. But the key thing for me is having the awareness of sometimes it's like delayed gratification. So you might be putting the work in, you might be running and but feel like you're not making any momentum, and it's because you're systemizing and improving process in your business, or kind of doing the 1.2, the 1.3 iterations of a particular process or element of your business that you're making improvements, but you're not seeing the results yet. So sometimes it's economic challenges, sometimes it's kind of delayed output or productivity or profit from the business. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, I suppose. So from my perspective, I think it's an important topic for people to think about a little bit. So think about that in relation to your business. But British Business Fact of the Week, like we do it every week. So hopefully you've been listening, haven't you, Charlie? You've been listening.
Yeah, I haven't got one for you.
Well, I've got one.
Go on, let's have it. Let's have it. Hit me.
So this is a new fact, and it's kind of post-November budget. But the Federation of Small Businesses, in December 2025, they'd done a poll of their members, and 58% of small UK firms expect their performance to worsen in the next quarter. And it's basically the worst confidence rating since the start of the pandemic.
Unsurprising.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, we'll talk about the budget a little bit because I've not really overly commented on the last few weeks of episodes because I wanted time to just think about it and take in kind of like what people have said to me and how they feel about the set of challenges that they face off the back of it, but also the flip side of it, opportunities, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, I thought that's an interesting fact. I suppose there was quite a lot of headlines in there around the budget and how people feel about it. I mean, what's your, just to touch on the budget, like without getting into specific, I suppose, economic changes and rules and bits and pieces that have come in, like, for example, obviously national insurance changes previously and all the rest of it. Like, how do you feel as a business owner about the budget, about the economic conditions, about the challenges around the fact that, say, your dividend percentages have gone up and you're going to be paying more tax on money that you've already paid, VAT, corporation tax, and now your personal dividend tax has gone up? How do you feel? Do you feel positive? Do you feel encouraged? And
No, I don't think you can feel encouraged by it. I don't know if anyone says they feel encouraged by any of that sort of stuff. I think they're lying. I don't know why you'd ever feel encouraged by the fact that a government is going to take to spend more on rubbish things. But I don't think I really worry too much about it. I think the biggest frustration is the whole thing it lacks confidence and conviction, and it doesn't give any confidence and conviction to any other people in the whole country. So it doesn't give any positive feeling whatsoever. So none of the decisions made businesses or small businesses, big businesses, whatever size businesses, feel really positive about what the next 6-12 months looks like. And the whole system is a confidence game. So I don't know why you wouldn't do something that kind of instilled a little bit of confidence in markets and in business and stuff. But I don't personally, Matt, I don't worry too much about the whole tax thing. I feel like there's still opportunity if you do it. I get really frustrated at the fact that it's so difficult for businesses to break through the barriers between the levels. So I think you can very easily have like a little side hustle, and I think you could be quite successful with your side hustle. I think you can move up, particularly what we've seen over the last few years. You can move, sub £500,000 a year business. You could do that quite comfortably. You could do it quite well. But the reality is that staying around in and around that number, whilst it's easy to generate the revenues in which to stay there, actually it's very, very difficult to run it from an overhead perspective, because you don't, your cost of your rent is expensive. You've got rates on your buildings. You've got all those sorts of things. But it's an absolute slog and a half to get through those barriers, to get to a point where, say, the likes of you and Tom are running your businesses. It's very, very difficult to get through to those stages. And I think that's where those blockers come in. You think about like employers' national insurance is a big one, for example. Yes, there's an allowance there for you, but actually reality is, for someone like us that's quite labour intensive, I need more people and also need more machines. If I keep giving money to HMRC at the end of every single year, then it stops me from getting a machine and a person to run the machine and the person to do more business. And that whole hamster wheel of stuff that goes round and round and round just makes it really, really difficult for us to grow. And I don't understand why it wouldn't be far simpler for us to go and buy a new 4-head, 6-head, 8-head embroidery machine to put in our unit, or it easier for us to take the unit next door to move into that one that's been vacant for 12 months, so that we can have more machines and more people to give a better level of service to the customers we do, and more customers. I just don't get it. And that's the bit for me. I think it's really, really difficult to keep breaking through the levels to a point. And you're right when you're talking about delayed gratification, because for me, I feel like it's being delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And I honestly, there's some days where I think it's never going to come. I honestly feel like that. We get to a point now where we're probably, just starting to make I wouldn't even say decent profit, but we're starting to finish off the year in a profit. But it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough to then break ground onto the next stage. It's not enough to then reinvest. It's not enough to punch through and get through the levels a little bit quicker. And that delaying of it, it just keeps on moving further and further and further and further back all the time. I don't understand why. Don't get it.
I think when we come back to like the decision making of the budget, like ultimately the UK is going through a lot of challenge at the moment, and we as a country, it feels like we need to batten down the hatches, and like the public sector, which small businesses support, and that sometimes is forgotten. Like our businesses pay for the public sector, that's the reality, and also employees, the tax they pay, the VAT that you pay. So it all goes into the pot and it gets spread out. But I suppose my problem with it is that my desk. Sorry, I just pushed a button then that I shouldn't have. My desk went into standing mode.
I thought you were doing that thing where you like pretend you're on an elevator, you know.
Yeah, no. No, what I was trying to say is that, like, I suppose we do have to contribute to it. But for me, logically, you want to try and grow the economy. So how do you grow the economy? Well, you grow the economy by incentivizing people to create, to add value to the economy. You want to grow it in the sense that you want to drive up like GDP per capita. You want us to be trading and doing more, buying and selling goods. And by adding more tax to small business, those small businesses are less likely. So my business, if I'm paying more tax, if my costs are increasing, well, it means I've got less of a surplus, or less gross profit, less net profit to then spend with people like yourself on promotional items or fancy mugs or whatever it might be. And then that damages the economy because we're not able to trade. The money just goes and disappears out of my business and goes into a big pot that HMRC and the Treasury control. But then ultimately my main challenge and concern is like how they spend that money. I don't believe they do it in an efficient way a lot of the time. And you only have to kind of even have a conversation with ChatGPT about like, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me 10 examples of how the government are being inefficient with their money, and it will give you sourced responses. And it's like, okay, this is really interesting. That is almost like a better response that you get when you say read a newspaper or look at articles online. So like, are you, this is an interesting one. So like, you as a business owner, are you incentivized at the moment? Do you feel incentivized to grow your business?
No, not at all.
So why do you want to grow your business? Because you like pain?
Yeah, we both listen to James Sinclair's podcast all the time, don't we? But like, I always hear on there that happiness is just a little bit boring. I think there's definitely that. It's exciting. I've never felt that I don't want to go to work when I wake up in the morning. I always feel like I want to go there. I think it comes from inside, doesn't it? Like for me, it's like, it's almost like I got a point to prove here. Like I'm not going to be stopped here. Nothing's going to stop us doing it. It doesn't matter what anyone throws at us. We're going to make a success of it. And I guess that's probably quite a personal feeling, and everyone doesn't have that sort of thing. But yeah, that's probably how I feel.
I think we're a unique breed, business owners, entrepreneurs. Like we for whatever reason, we're driven to push ourselves and grow things and do things, like ultimately. But the way I look at it is, if you're speeding faster on the motorway than you should, what they do is they fine you and they get you to slow down. Now, if you think about that analogy in relation to tax, so businesses who are going fast and doing well, what they're going to do is tax them and or fine them. Now, what is the outcome? What are those businesses going to do that are moving fast and making moves? Well, they're going to move slower. So if the target and aim is to slow businesses down, stop them from growing, stop them from spending money, because spending money as a business has a positive impact on the GDP of the country, and it also has a positive impact on, it's like the trickle-down effect. So for me, logically, it doesn't make sense to have to tax more and tax more. If you want people to go faster and do more, well, unshackle them. So that's my main frustration. That's my little whinge about
I
the
don't think the
budget.
government's ever taxed its way to growth. I think that's a fact. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. I'm not
Yeah,
not economist, so I don't know. I try not to
well,
take too much notice of it. I spend enough time reading everything, and it ends up just getting you down, doesn't it? But I don't think anyone has successfully taxed their way into a growing economy.
no. Well, I mean,
But we'll see, I suppose.
if you ask the high performers in society, the people that are generating wealth, to pay more than their fair share, most of the time they'll kind of shrug their shoulders and go, yeah, no problem, I'll do a bit. But when it gets to the point where, if say you're earning £110,000 and there's a promotional and this is just at an employee level, if there's a promotional opportunity that you can go for to earn an extra £5,000 or £10,000, why would you do that when 50% of your income is going to get given straight back to HMRC?
Yeah, I think that must be like that for a lot of employees. I mean, everyone talks about the £100,000, don't they? And
but even even at the 50k bracket where you're going to 50k and you're giving away more, it's like, why?
Definitely holds you back. Definitely does. It's got to. And for the majority of people, if you're not wired to keep, trying to do better and make things better and get better service and make your business better than the business next door, I think why would you do it? Why would you push yourself a little bit harder, take on a little bit of stress and strain? I don't know why you would. I don't know why lots of people do. I don't know why lots of people do.
Do you think your business, do you feel like personally satisfied with what you've achieved this year in business?
No, I have a real problem. I don't ever feel satisfied. It's a weird one. I don't think you ever feel happy, except to the point now where like you do celebrate. I do try and slow myself down and remind myself of the wins or where we've come from and what we've done or how we were operating previously. I do try and remind myself of it, but I don't know, when you're in the thick of it, you just kind of like move on to the next thing, and it's the next problem and the next issue or the next next pay slips to deal with or whatever it might be. It's just, I don't know, you're just constantly moving on all the time.
So the episode that comes out on Monday with me and Tom is like how to set goals you'll actually stick to. And I think the key thing there is, right, so you can talk about like this feeling of not achieving, kind of like not growing, not like being happy with how this year's gone. But if you haven't set goals,
how are you going to know? You can't measure it.
How are you going to know? So like on that episode, I'll talk a little bit about goal setting and listen to the episode on Monday. But the short thing for me is like, we all need to hold ourselves to account a little bit more and make sure that we are setting the goals so we know whether or not we've been successful. Because I think a common trait of business owners is this constant feeling of, I need to do more. I definitely feel like that. And if I didn't have the goals written down that I wanted to achieve in my business, personally, etc., and I hadn't done that process, then I'd be sat here at Christmas going, fucking hell, why have I don't feel like I've done much. And sometimes you forget all the little things and little improvements that you've made. Like, I've spoken to you a lot about your business this year, and I know that you've improved so many things, and I think you've grown massively, but you're like, there's so much more opportunity. So you're like, let's go. Like, and I think there's so many business owners like listening to the episode that'll be feeling that as well. And it's key thing is listen to the episode on Monday and make sure that you are setting goals as you head into 2026, because otherwise, how do you measure that feeling of, have I achieved what I wanted to achieve? Do I feel positive about what I've done? And I think you can do that on a shorter basis, which is why I wanted to do this episode, because I wanted to focus in on people, take some time off, try to switch off a little bit, but maybe just take 60 minutes on Christmas Eve, either first thing in the morning before the kids get out of bed or after they've gone to bed, after you've done the presents, and just write down some things that you want to try and achieve early January, or work on a bit of a list. And maybe Christmas Eve isn't appropriate, but find an hour, find a couple of hours here or there. You don't need to work in the business and be like an operative in the sense of like operating the business, but or if you can get away with it, because obviously some businesses, it's their peak trading period, they might be in a pub or a restaurant, but take the time to do that. I think it's very important. That's I suppose something I wanted to think. So like, interesting episode. I just my rhetoric just on the budget as well, because you spoke a lot about that. For me, I think the way I look at it is a little bit like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you've made it harder. Okay, keep going. Like, I like the pain. like,
Yeah.
like all that will happen is the businesses and the business owners that survive will be stronger and better. So if you can kind of grit your teeth and get through this challenging period where the economic circumstances, the taxation's hard, what will come out the other side is a better business and a better leader in business. So that's the way I'm trying to approach it. Is I'm trying not to get like drawn into the
Yeah, no,
negativity
same.
surrounding it.
Same.
I think
Very
having
easy
that,
to. It's very easy to, isn't it? I think it's very easy to. And it becomes a bit of a
yeah,
blame game then, doesn't it? And I can blame Rachel Reeves all I like for taxation, but we still got to make a profit before I might pay my VAT and employers' national insurance and stuff, but still got to make a profit before I pay the corp tax. The reality is that there's loads of things that I should really be doing to make more profit in the first place.
exactly.
So I can blame that all I like, but when we spoke, it's interesting you speaking about goal setting and it being measurable and stuff, and then you talked about like a feeling. Well, I run a lot of my stuff on feelings, always have done. I don't know whether that's like sales background, but like I was always looking at sales numbers, but I run a lot of our stuff on a feeling, and we've talked a lot about KPIs and things being measurable and what can we track and what can we improve against. And when that, I think that would help us certainly next year if we do a decent enough job of that in the next 12 months to look back and go, oh yeah, we have actually improved that because here's the numbers to back it up. But there's no point me blaming anybody else for the fact that we're not hitting those numbers if I'm not bothered to track it. Then I'm not bothering to track it in the first place or even improve against it, or the data doesn't lie, does it? But that's kind of my that's my feeling on it all. You can get frustrated all you like, you can moan about all you like, but there's things we can do.
That's my thing, and that's the finishing thing on that point, is that like, okay, it's difficult, and that's why I was asking you the question, because I wanted you to be open and talk about the challenges and have a bit of a whinge and a moan about it, like I do at times. I have a whinge and a moan, but really deep down in my gut, I'm like, okay then, what's next? Bring it on. I don't really care, because however difficult you make it, we will make it work. That's my mindset and my approach, and I think business owners just need to lean into that a little bit more, I suppose. So yeah, that's kind of that's what I wanted to talk about with you, really. I mean, there is so much opportunity out there, especially for businesses that want to go after it. And I think if you're being negative and you're whinging and having a bit of a moan about Rachel Reeves from Thieves and all the rest of it, like,
that is the British way, though, isn't it?
Yeah, we like to have a little bit of a whinge and a moan.
It is. Yep.
We do. I think there is an element of like stiff upper lip that happens in this country, but I think we've definitely got softer. And all I would say is that if you're having a bit of a bitch and a moan, are you realistically doing everything that you possibly can to make the best of the situation? And that's what I would just ask people to ask themselves. So, final question of the week by ChatGPT. So this is the question that ChatGPT asks us. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. He's a lot smarter than me, so I don't know what. I'm going to be able to answer it, to be honest with you. That's fantastic.
Are you ready?
That is fantastic. How did you do that? Where's the drum kit?
I was just under the desk. It's out of camera. You can't. It's good.
Anyway. Move your hands quick, don't you, boy?
So let's hope this question's good. If December you could send one message to January you, what would it be? So how you're feeling right now, what you want to execute in January. If you could talk to yourself in the future, how would you talk to yourself? What would you say to yourself in January?
It'll all be okay. If I could talk to myself in the future, not even go backwards, I've got to go forwards.
No, so what could you say to yourself?
If December me said to do, well, I feel like I'm stressed as shit at the moment. So I think if December me talks to January me, he just says, look, calm the fuck down. It's not as bad as you think it is. Your problems are like the problems you're creating in your own head are actually okay. They're quite good ones to have. You've got lots to try and achieve. You've got to try and work out how to achieve it in the same time. They are good problems. You need to find machines for people to operate. That's a good problem because it means you're busy. So calm down, stop for a moment and just try and fix and tackle the issues as they arise, but keep it nice and calm. I think that's what December me would say to January me.
So what I would say to January me is I'd say you need to say fucking thank you because I worked hard in December to make January easier.
Yeah, I know, but I've done that, have I? Because I've fucked it. So I've fucked it the last 2 weeks. So I can't even say that.
So what are you going to say?
That.
You're going to say,
that.
sorry,
sorry,
I'm
so sorry, January.
Sorry, January Charlie. I've fucked you over, mate. I've not done this. I've not done this. I've not done this.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah,
that is what I need to say to January me. That is perfection.
No, you're doing well, mate. But that was
hard.
a bit of a
it's
teaser
hard.
question.
So hard.
That was a good. You thought that was a shit question, but actually it was a good one because of the way
That was really good. That was very good.
You see, me and ChatGPT have a lot of dialogue before we kind of finalise these show notes, and I said, "Listen, I want to hit Charlie with something because I think he's procrastinated potentially on a couple of things that he knows he should have done." So let's get into
I don't know if I procrastinated. I just get caught up in the moments.
Yeah, I definitely I've got. I was looking in my my trusted diary, and I was speaking to a friend of mine, Daryl, recently about taking action. And I was flicking through it this morning. There's so many things I've written down that I needed to box off that I've not done, and it's being kind to yourself and working out what you kind of like what's urgent.
Have you literally just reviewed that recently then?
I've just flicked through it this morning, my diary.
When did you write it all down?
Well, basically every day I write in my diary.
Right,
I write down things that I need to get done, just little to-do lists, micro to-do lists. They can be big things, little things, but I've looked through the last 25 pages. I just do it now and again and go, did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that? And some of it feels good because I'm like, right, I've done these things, but then I'll be like, you've not done that.
The problem is you're moving into extra time now, though, aren't you? Because the end of the year's coming. Then you start to review stuff. Then you start to kick yourself in the bollocks because you think, I haven't done the things I should have done. And then you're all of a sudden thinking, this is what I've been doing. You're trying to cram every single thing that you should have been doing for the last 12 months that you said you were going to do start in January. Well, and now you're starting to review some of those things, and then it's starting to get a little bit anxious because you haven't quite nailed off some of those things. That's how I feel. Maybe not yourself, but...
Well, I disagree because there's things that I've not done, but the key thing for me is that I'm looking at it and going, January's now. So the reason I looked through those notes and what I hadn't done is because I'm making lists to execute at the start of January. So I'm not looking at it as the end of a year. I'm already at the start of the year. So it's like a little, maybe different, slight angle, perhaps. I'm not sure. Anyway, we've been running for 37 minutes, mate. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode.
No, thank you.
Good just to have a bit of a ramble and check-in. And I know when we did your episode on your story and everything, a lot of people were quite interested to hear kind of where you're up to, and it'd be good to check in a little bit more often. So you never know. Maybe we'll do check-in with Charlie on a Wednesday. Or
God, did take you long to come up with that one.
The Charlie check-in.
The Charlie check-in, yeah, sounds good to me. If I can add anything in particular to people's day, then yeah, go for it.
Or maybe we won't. We'll see.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited to find out either way.
Oh dear. Right, have a good Christmas, mate. If I don't speak to you,
thanks very much.
And I will speak to you very soon. Hang on in the chat because I've got something very private to tell you in a minute that no one will ever know, and that'll really annoy people. Make sure you also like the episode on Spotify and YouTube, and make sure you subscribe. Really appreciate it. No one's listening at this point anyway because they're like, what's going on? So,
thanks, Matt.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.